Hey guys, Doris here. So, look at this nice piece of hardware here. It looks military, don't it? Well, it should for the most part, because most part this is all military spec parts and pieces. It's even got an actual military spec M4 barrel on that with a original A2 sight for an actual bayonet mount. We're gonna answer the age-old question about the AR-15. Can this be converted to full auto? Well, before I get started here, I want to bring up a few legalities, okay, before people start jumping the wagon here, thinking that, this is a real easy project that anybody can do, blah, 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 yeah. Shut up, okay? Just shut up. I know some of you journalists out there, left-leaning ilk, that absolutely hate the AR-15, that think that you know everything. Before you even try misusing any sound bites in my video or misusing any clips in my video, you better freaking listen to this disclaimer right now. It is illegal. It is 1000% illegal to convert this into a full auto machine gun. Okay? 100% illegal. Unless you are a licensed Class 7 gunsmith, you had notified the ATF prior to, paid the $250 tax stamp, and got the Form 4, I believe it's a Form 4, I'm not sure what the specific paperwork is, filled out prior to, got the ATF's approval before building a machine gun, your ass is going to jail. Plain and simple. If you even attempt to turn one of these into full auto, you successfully turn one of these into full auto, and you're not a licensed Class 7 gunsmith and you didn't get permission from the ATF, you're going to jail. Plain and simple. 10 years in prison minimum and $250,000 fine per incident. Okay, so let's say I've got two of these AR-15s. I decide to convert both of them to full auto and I get caught. Well, 20 years in jail and $500,000 in fines for me. So, without further ado, and we're going to check this real quick. Okay, she ain't loaded. See that? Clear. Alright, so something you should know. So, an actual M16, okay, M16. So you got to understand, the M16, M4, AR-15s, you got what is called an upper receiver, and down here, the lower receiver. The part of the gun that is legally classified as the firearm, according to the ATF, is the lower receiver. This part is the firearm, okay? Everything else, buttstock included, barrel, those are all accessories. This right here is legally defined as the firearm, okay? Because two reasons. One, it houses a complete trigger group, or it can house a complete trigger group. Two, I don't know if you can see very well because the camera is not very good. It's also got the serial number stamped right down there, right below the Bushmaster logo. This piece is legally considered the firearm. So we've got to establish that first and foremost. Okay? Now, can your average AR-15 be turned into full auto? Probably. Should it be done? No, it's illegal. And is it as easy as a lot of people in the media say it is? As simple as filing some shit down, filing down the safety on here? No, that is patently false, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so we're going to separate the two halves here. All right. So this piece right here that I'm pulling out is attached to my charging handle. Mind you, it's a little dirty because I haven't cleaned it after I went shooting last time, so I'm going to get that. I'm going to fix that in a minute. This piece right here, this is called the bolt carrier. This actually happens to be an M16 bolt carrier. And I'll show you what an AR-15 bolt carrier looks like. This is one of the AR-15 bolt carriers. Now, the lower end right here, this is a key component to trying to build a full auto. If you do not have an M16 bolt carrier, and please do not assume, please do not try to regulate these, because this by itself a full auto does not make. There's actually several components needed to make this into, to make an AR-15 into a full auto. This is one of them, but this is not regulated. Okay? But note, this back half of this bolt carrier is even with the top half on the back half of this bolt carrier. It's longer, whereas an AR-15 one, it is not. AR-15, it's shorter, it's stubbier. This is done on purpose. Some of them you'll even notice that they just completely chop this lower half off. Now don't think that, oh, it's just as easy as, welding on a whole bunch of metal right here and grinding it down. No. You'll have to mill that out. You have to make sure it's harmonically sound and it's not going to fracture or break under pressure. Because this thing during rapid fire is going back and forth inside the upper receiver, between the upper receiver and the buffer tube on the lower receiver, back and forth, like super fast. Okay, we're talking like 500-600 rounds per minute fast if we're talking full auto. Yeah, if you just try to weld that and mill that down, that probably won't even hold, to be honest with you. So there's some serious specifications to how these are built. That's one of the reasons why, more than likely, a lot of these AR-15s won't be as easily converted into full auto as the media would like to make it out to be. Okay. Yeah. Let me get this charging handle so I don't lose it. Okay. So, this, I'm going to pull the trigger here, put it on safe. This right here, lower receiver, AR-15. See that? See this piece, sorry, right there? That right there, that's the shelf. That is the shelf. There's a lot of AR-15s out there that have what is called a high shelf. If your AR-15 in question has a high shelf, guess what? There's no way, shape, and form in hell that you'll be able to convert into a full auto if it has a high shelf. This one, by chance, actually happens to have a low shelf. So is my other one. Okay? This has a low shelf. So, in theory, I could probably put a auto sear block, or if I got one of those registered pre-1986 auto sear kits, because those, by definition of the ATF, those are actually considered the full auto machine gun kit, and they've got serial numbers printed on them. And as long as they are pre-1986, they are registered. They've got the $20,000 piece of paperwork that come with them. You can legally own those. You can legally put that in this. Okay, but I don't have one, and we're not going to try to build one either. So if you don't have that, the actual purpose-built M4s, M16s actually had a third hole drilled right above here. So this piece right here, that's your safety selection switch, okay? Well, can't flip it because I got the hammer forward, okay? But above, right, literally right there, right above, right where my finger is, okay, right where the needle points, quarter of an, or no, not quarter inch, probably about 1/8 of an inch from the top edge here of this receiver wall, there's a third hole that's drilled all the way through both walls, okay? That is where the pin would sit for your auto sear block to rock back and forth on, okay? Auto sear block is actually the key, that is the component that is registered, like that is legally regulated by the ATF. That is the piece that you absolutely 100% need to make a full auto, okay? Along with a number of other pieces, but that is the only piece that is controlled by the ATF. So if the media wants to make a big deal about it, all right, go ahead, make a big deal about these auto sear kits. I guarantee you they're not as common as you think. And yes, you can order them off the internet, but I guarantee you the second you order one of those off the internet, you better believe you're going to have ATF snooping around your place, breathing down your neck. Might even possibly do a 3 in the morning no-knock raid on your place and kick in your door and shoot your dog type thing. I'm not joking on that, okay? So the only people that have any business buying those kits are Class 7 licensed gunsmiths, or people who already have registered pre-1986 machine guns that they're trying to do repairs on. Those are the only two legal justifications why a person would buy those. Okay? Other than maybe making a museum piece cutaway, okay? And if I explain to you what a cutaway is, basically they just mill away certain parts of the receiver so the gun doesn't function. It's not legally classified as a machine gun because it can't function like a machine gun because it's missing components. And so that way you can just see the inner workings to see how a machine gun is supposed to work. But, yeah. There you go. You need an auto sear block. Now, I'm going to show you this photo. I don't know how well it's going to come up on the phone here. All right, but that right there, that is what an auto sear block looks like, okay? Let me grab a pencil or something to use as a pointer here. Okay. All right, so that piece right there, that's the piece that rocks back and forth. That's the piece that I was talking about where you need to drill a third hole. Like this would have to have a third hole to have that piece, okay? That's the auto sear block. That's the piece that engages with the hammer to give you part of your full auto capabilities, okay? The other thing too, you'll note, look at these side walls too, okay? Look at these side walls, okay? See how they are perfectly parallel with, like the inner wall and the outer wall are perfectly parallel, like perfectly straight. They don't bow in or anything like that. They don't meander or anything. Now, look at the side walls back here. See how they kind of dip in? They dip in. They aren't perfectly straight. If they were perfectly straight, I'd be able to put in easily install a auto sear block. That's another reason why most of your AR-15s are not going to be full auto convertible. You know what I mean? Because you got that in the way if we're talking about trying to convert it with a auto sear block. Other thing we'll note too, let me see if I can get a different photo here. Forgive me, because if I knew how to share photos straight off my computer screen, I would do so. Alright, let's see. Open up a new tab, give me a minute. Okay, let's see what I do with it. Okay, so this right here, this is an AR-15 hammer. Okay, that's an AR-15 hammer. This is an M16 hammer. Note the differences. See how the M16 hammer, the aft end of it is a little bit longer, slightly longer. Okay. This one's a little bit stubbier, and this is by design. Also, the top portion of this hammer has a little hook on top. You notice that? That hook engages the auto sear block, the piece that I was talking about that you would have installed right here. Okay, that's the auto sear block. This is one, like I said, M16 hammers not regulated. This isn't an M16 hammer, it's an AR-15 hammer. M16 hammer, if this was an M16 hammer, this is not regulated, okay? The other piece that you need too to make this full auto, but again, I gotta emphasize it's illegal. But another piece that you would need an M16 or an M4 safety selection switch. So a regular AR-15 safety selection switch is a strictly 2-position safety selection switch. That's it. You don't have any. I could try to force this thing will not go. There is no third position. So to the people that believe in the myth of, oh, all I have to do is file down my safety selector switch so it'll go to the third position, that is false. That is patently false. You need an M4, M16 safety selection switch. That is one of the key components. Okay? The safety selection switch for an M4 and M16 actually has 3 selections. Some of them actually have 4 because you got 3-round burst as an option, okay? But yeah, regular AR-15, 2-position only, safe and fire. And when I say fire, it's single shot for 1 actuation of the trigger. So that's another thing you'll need. So back to the whole bolt carrier group, okay? And see if I can't push this out of the way, get this buffer tube spray out of the way, maybe. Yeah, I don't think it's going to cooperate tonight. Oh, there we go. There we go. Getting the buffer tube out real quick. This is the buffer tube spring, by the way. That's what's inside this tube that the buttstock sits on top of. But your bolt carrier rides on that buffer and on that buffer tube. Okay? And this is key why it needs to be an M16 bolt carrier. It basically slides back and forth, okay? Back and forth, like all the way back, all the way forward. And while it's doing that, if this is on, let's say, like I said, we've got safety selection switch, we've got this thing flipped to full auto. This is actually engaging with this hammer, slapping it back, slapping back, slapping forward, slapping back, slapping forward, okay? And then that auto sear is engaging that hook on the back end of that hammer that I was talking about. So there you go. It's not as easy as, we're going to file a couple parts down, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You have to basically remill this entire receiver right here, the aft end of this receiver, to get it to turn it, to get this to be full auto again. Or not again, I mean get it to be full auto, period. And then you'd have to get your hole drilled on the top and get it lined up just right, because if you are off by a few thousandths of an inch, the whole thing won't work. So, just to further debunk what the media says about the AR-15s being full auto, being scary, being assault rifles, they're not. They're sporting rifles. I don't know of an assault rifle at all. I only know of battle rifles and sporting rifles. So, yeah. Let's see if we can't get this puppy put back together again. I'll have to get it cleaned shortly, but probably not tonight. Well, there we go. Me dorking around with that stupid bolt carrier. All right, well, sorry for the long video. Sorry for the long explanation. I'm Diorce, and I'm out. You guys have yourselves a good one. Bye-bye.